Hello guys, this is Paul McWhorter with TopTechBoy.com, and we're here today with episode number 69 in our incredible new tutorial series where you're teaching your Raspberry Pi who's boss. What I will need you to do is pour yourself a nice tall glass of ice cold coffee. That would be straight up black coffee poured over ice, no sugar, no sweeteners, none needed. And as you're pouring your coffee, as always, I want to give a shout out to our friends over at Sunfounder. Sunfounder is actually sponsoring this most excellent series of video lessons. And in this class, we are using the Sunfounder Raphael kit for Raspberry Pi. Now, most of you guys probably already have your gear, but if you don't, look down in the description. There is a link over to Amazon. You can hop on over there and pick your kit up. And believe me, your life and my life are going to be a whole lot easier if we are working on identical hardware. But enough of this shameless self-promotion. Let's jump in and talk about what I am going to teach you today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my solution to the homework assignment that I gave you in lesson number 68. But let me start by asking, how many of you guys were successful? If you were successful in completing the homework, leave a comment down below. I am legend, double chest bump. And if you are not successful, leave a comment down below. I folded up like a cheap Walmart lawn chair. Now, hopefully some of you guys got this, because what the homework assignment was to take, and let me switch over here to a little more informative view, was to take your Raspberry Pi and to hook up the RC522 RFID module, and then to be able to program these various RFID tags and cards, and then to be able to program them for a given user. If that given user goes up and puts his or her tag on the reader, it will greet them by name. Hello, Shelly. Welcome to the RFID module, and then we'll turn the LED, the RGB LED, that person's favorite color. Okay, now we're going to be kind of advancing our programming skills a little bit today, because really I showed you last week how to use the RFID module, and you've known for some time how to use an RGB LED. So the hardware part is kind of easy, but we've really got to start sharpening our pencil and thinking a little bit more about applications that might use an RFID module. And we've got to kind of get away from thinking about, I'm sitting in front of the Raspberry Pi with Donnie open and able to do whatever I want. If I want to change something, I change it by changing the program. We got to think more about this being incorporated, let's say, into a kiosk, to where the person just comes up and has their card and is not a programmer. So I'm going to kind of be trying to take a little bit more of that approach. Now, to actually program the tags and cards, that would be something maybe you would think about back in your main office, or back on the desktop doing that. But then for the user, it would be kind of transparent. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So let's see. I guess what we should do is we should start by going back, and I'll give you just a real quick recap of how to get this thing up and running. I'll show you the schematic that I used here, and you can get to this schematic by going to the most excellent www.toptechboy.com, and then you come over here, and somewhere behind my head you find this happy little search icon here, and what you need to search on is something like using a MFRC 522 RFID module, and you should come to this lesson, and then right here you can see the pinout that I am using to hook this thing up. It's really pretty easy. You can see that I am using the Sunfounder GPIO breakout board, and you basically have to hook up 3.3 volts and ground, and then you have a reset pin, and then you've got to hook up SDA, SDK, MOSI, and MISO, because we are using MSI, or we're using SPI. Okay, now I showed you in lesson number 68 how to get SPI working on the Raspberry Pi. I showed you how to install the libraries that you needed, and I showed you how to begin to work with the RFID module. So all that was explained in lesson number 68. Today I'm going to show you how to go in and start doing something that's a little bit more like a project with it. Okay, I think the one other thing that I should show you that so that your hookup will be just like mine. By this time, you should be pretty comfortable hooking up an RGB LED, but you can see I have the RGB LED here, and on the left is the red leg, and then the next pin over is that long pin, which is the ground. And so I've got red, I've got ground, and then I've got green, and I've got blue. Red, ground, green, blue. Okay, red, green, and blue have a 330 ohm resistor. The ground pin is come up here, connects to the ground rail, and then I establish the ground rail over here. And then this is all explained in the schematic that we just looked at. So that's pretty much how you need to get things all hooked up. And you should, again, be very comfortable with using RGB LEDs at this point. If you're not, go back and watch one of the earlier lessons in this class where we really go in depth about the RGB LED. So that's how we get things hooked up. And last week we got our libraries installed. So I believe that we are ready to come in here and we are ready to start coding this thing. Okay, so the first thing I need to kind of talk through is like how I see this working, because I don't want to have this operate where like the console is asking you, do you want to program, or do you want to write the card, or do you want to read from the card? Because really just a user that walks up there, he doesn't have any business programming the card. And then the second thing is there's probably not going to be a keyboard there. So you've got to think in terms of administrators and users. Okay, the administrator might be back in the main office, and the administrator can do things that a user can't. And so this is sort of the way that I set it up. I have one card, and that card is the admin card. So the text that I put on this card, or the text that I associated with this card, was admin. And so if I come in and I put the admin card up against the RFID reader, if I come in and I put the admin card up against the RFID reader, I go into admin mode. And in admin mode, I can program these other cards. Okay, now if I come in and I just use one of these other cards, just pop one of these other cards on here, it just goes into user mode. Now, what was the assignment? Each one of these needs to have a person's name and their favorite color, not the admin card. The admin card is just admin. These need to have the person's name, and then they need to have the person's favorite color. Now, the first thing you probably struggled a little bit with is you can only save one thing to one of these cards, and so when you have more than one thing that you want on there, how do you handle that? And I'll kind of show you what I did. I'd be interested to see if you guys figured it out, and also I'm really interested to see the different approaches that you took on this homework, because I did leave it kind of deliberately, I left it a little bit vague to see just how far out you guys would be thinking. Okay, so let me go ahead and start coding here. So we're going to start by importing time, because we will need to put some delays in here. So we're going to import time. Now from MFRC 522, we're going to import simple MFRC 522, and you guys be very mindful of case. It's uppercase, lowercase, it really matters. And now we're going to be using the GPIO pin, so we're going to say import RP uppercase and then little I and then GPIO all uppercase as GPIO. And now we're going to go ahead and tell it that we will be using the BCM numbering scheme. Why BCM? Because with this breakout board, those pin labels are in the BCM numbering scheme. So if we use BCM, all of our numbers are going to match the labels, and that's kind of nice. So we're going to do a GPIO.set mode. What mode do we want? We want GPIO.BCM, like that. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and create our reader object. We're going to create our RFID reader object. I'm just going to call it reader, and I do that by calling simple MFRC 522, that method that we just imported. So I'm going to go ahead and run this and make sure that this works. Okay, that ran without an error. Now I'm going to go ahead and set up my pins, and just to remind you, on this RGB LED, okay, the left leg, when the longest leg is second from the left, the longest leg is second from the leftmost leg is red, and I have red hooked up to pin 16. Then I've got the ground hooked up to the ground rail, and then I've got the green hooked up to pin 20, and then I've got the blue hooked up to pin 21. And those are the BCM pin numbers, all right? And then the red, the green, and the blue connect to those output pins through 330 ohm resistors. All right, so you guys should be familiar with RGB LEDs by now. If you're not, go back and take the earlier lesson in this series of lessons and learn how to do that. But red, green, blue are pins 16, 20, and 21. That is the thing that sort of matters. Okay, so we're going to come over and we'll come back over to our code view here, and let's set those up. So I'm going to have a red pin, and that's going to be equal to pin 16. I'm going to have a green pin, and that's going to be equal to pin 20. And then I'm going to have a blue pin, and that's going to be equal to pin 21. All right. Now, we could go in, and as we're changing the colors of the LED, we could do like we've done in the past, and we could say, okay, you know, GPIO.output to red pin a 1, or GPIO.output to the blue pin a 0. But what I want to do is I want to kind of do them all at the same time. So what I'm going to do is, anticipating that, I'm going to create an array. And that array is going to be called color pins, and that is going to be the pins red pin, green pin, and blue pin, like that. Red pin, green pin, and blue pin. And that way, if I write to color pins, I'm writing to all 3 pins at the same time. Okay, now the other thing, like you could imagine, that, okay, now I've got red as a color, but then how would I get red? I would want to turn red to a 1 and green and blue to a 0. And then if I had green, you know, green's a color, and then how would I do that? I would turn red to 0, green to 1, and blue to 0. So you could imagine I could do it with something like colors is equal to red, comma, green, red, comma. I'm doing this in the shell because we're not going to really do it this way. Green, comma, blue, like that, okay? And now I've got my colors in an array, red, green, blue, and I could say like colors of 0 would be red. Okay, that would be kind of how we would do it in the past. And then what I would need to do is color values, and then I could say, okay, well, red is 0, comma, or it's 1, comma, 0, comma, 0, red on, green off, blue off, okay? And then it would be for green 0, comma, 1, comma, 0, and then for blue it would be 0, comma, 0, comma, 1, okay? And then you see how I've tried to kind of line those things up. What did I do wrong there? Oh, equals, color values equals, like that, okay? Now what I've tried to do is, let's go in and call up colors. You see how I've kind of lined them up. So the first one here would be the same as the first one here. Green values would be here and blue values would be here. But this is really hard because if I wanted to add a color or move things around, it's really easy to get these things confused really quick. So really I want the values and the labels in the same data structure. And you can do that with something that's called a dictionary. In a dictionary, you put the labels and you put the values in the same data structure. So let me kind of show you how to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to call that data structure colors. And then to create the dictionary, you do it with an open curly. So I've got an open curly. Now I'm going to put the label, which is red. Okay, that's like this red down here. That's like that red down there. And then I'm going to give it a value. Well, what value goes with red? Well, it is 1, comma, 0, comma, 0, like that. Okay, so now that's the first little chunk of data. Now, what's the next one? It's going to be green. okay, and then I put a colon and then the value, and that's going to be 0, 1, 0, like that. And then a comma, and then we're going to go blue, and then that is going to be equal to, no, not equal to, it is going to be colon, what is that? Close this aggravating thing. Okay, so then blue is going to be colon, and it is going to be 0, 0, 1. Okay, now I'm going to close the color. Now I'm going to close the dictionary with a little bracket. So you see, I could take out something or I could put something in, but it's always associated. The value is associated with the label. So let's see how this works. Let's just come down here, get a Control C, come down here to the shell, Control V. Look at that, it took it. Now, instead of saying colors of 0, what I would say is, I would say colors of red, okay? And colors of red then gives me the values, which is 1, 0, 0. So now I don't care where in the array they are, I give it the name and it gives me the value. Very, very powerful. So we got that set up here. And so this, I think, is going to make our life a whole lot easier moving forward. Okay, so that is looking good. And I just want to make sure, why did that not go? Okay, yeah, that's good. Goes to the new line. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to GPIO. I'm going to set up those pins. Which pins? Well, I could set up red pin and set up green pin and set up blue pin, or I could just all at once set up color pins, them all to GPIO dot out, like that. And that should set them all at the same time. Let's go ahead and run this and make sure that this is working without errors. It's not going to do anything. Okay, and what it doesn't like is I'd run it before and those GPIO pins are locked up, or they're in use, and now somebody else is asking to use them. And so let's go ahead and see if we can take care of that. And I showed you how to do that last week. I can do it with a try, and inside the try, so we're going to try to do this. Okay, and then what are we going to try to do? Our main while loop, while true. Okay, and then for now I'm just going to put pass because I just kind of want to get my program flow working, and I'll come in and put the heart of the program here where I have pass. But I'm going to try to do that, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to have an except where I can pass out cleanly. So except, if the try doesn't work, I go to except. What takes me to except? A keyboard interrupt, like that. And then what do I want to do on a keyboard interrupt? Well, I want to turn all of the LED colors off. So I'm going to do a GPIO dot output. And then what do I want? I want my color pins. Remember, that's all 3 of them up here. That's all my color pins. I want to turn them all to what? I want to turn it to 0, 0, 0. Okay. And with a construct like this, it looks at color pins. The first element is red pin, and the first element is turned to this 0. The next element is green pins. It is turned to this element, and then blue pins is turned to this element. So color pins has 3 pins, and then 0, 0, 0 has 3 numbers, and so it just sort of matches them up. That should turn everything off. I hope that makes sense what I just said. Then we're going to do a GPIO dot clean up, like that. And just to see if we actually got down here, I'm going to give myself a cue, which is saying GPIO good to go, like that. Close the string, close the print. Now let's run this and see if it works. Okay, I still get the warning. Okay, but now it is running. I'm going to keyboard interrupt with Control C, and when I do that, it says GPIO good to go. So what it did was it turned the LED off, and then it released the GPIO pins. Now when I run, I shouldn't get an error. Okay, you see I'm running without an error, and then I cleanly exit. Okay, so now we got to come in and we've got to kind of write the heart of our program now. So what do I want to do? I have a card. It is the admin card. Okay, and the first thing I want to do, anything that comes up here, I want to prompt the user to put their card on. And then if I prompt the user to put the card on, then I better what? I better read the card. But when I read it, I'm going to see if it is the admin card, I'm going to go into the admin part of the program. If it is one of the user cards, I'm going to go into the user part of the program. What are the user cards? Anything that is not an admin card is a user card. Okay, does that make sense? I hope it does. Okay, so now we're going to come in and we're going to start setting that up. So what did I say that we needed to do to begin with? We got to prompt the user. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask them, I'm going to prompt the user to go ahead and put their card in place. All right, so I'm going to come here, I'm going to say print like that, and I'm going to say place card next to reader like that, colon, all right, like that. Now I want to read it. I'm going to read its ID, and I'm going to read its text. And how do I read its text? I read its text by putting in reader, the object that I created up there, dot read. Okay, now what I can do is I can print text just to sort of see where we are. And now I'm going to go ahead and run this and just see if it'll read the admin card. Okay. So we're running it, and what is that it doesn't like in line 16? ID text. Did I set up reader up here? Reader is not set up correctly, because what did I need to do there? I needed to give it an open close, okay? And it doesn't error out, it just doesn't work when you try to use it. Okay, and so now I'm going to Control C to cleanly exit, and now I should be able to cleanly start. Okay, place the card next to the reader. I'm placing the admin card, and I'm going to kind of swipe it by, and it says admin. Now you see I didn't put any delay in there, and so it reads it real fast. And so I'm going to go ahead and try to address that fast reading problem. So after it reads, I'm going to say print remove your card like that, because otherwise the program's going to get confused, because it's just going to go boom, 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 read. And so I'm going to tell it to remove the card, and then I'm going to do a time.sleep of 2 seconds to give the more sluggish among us time to get their card off. Okay, and that way it won't read multiple times, and then I will print what it read. Okay, so I'm going to come up, place your card next to the reader. Okay, I do that. Remove your card, and then it says I'm the admin. I think it would be better to print that admin before I rest it. So I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to cut, and I'm going to put that. Where would I? Yeah, let me, I'll go ahead and put that there. Now let's see how this runs. I'm going to Control C to cleanly exit. I'm going to come up here, place your card next to the reader. Okay, remove your card, admin. Okay, now it's ready for me to do something else, because I haven't really said what to do at this point. All right, but it's the program flow is coming along nicely, I think. Okay, so now at this point, I think what I want to do is I want to see, is the admin in the house, was it the admin who came up with this admin card? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to test on that. So I'm going to say if text equal, and then admin like that, okay, then what do I want to do? Well, let's just do something simple to see if it works. Print hello admin, all right, hello admin like that. Okay, so now let's run it. Or wait a minute, let's Control C to cleanly exit. Now let's run it. Please place card next to reader. I do. Remove your card. I remove it. And then no happy greeting. Denied. Okay, now I want you to look at this. Exactly what did it read? I printed the text. Exactly what did it read? Admin. And then I do the test. If text equal, I got both equal signs, ADMIN, uppercase, I'm supposed to print hello admin. But it never got in here. It didn't get in this if statement. It just came all the way back up to the top. Somebody tell me what happened, because this is one of those errors that will absolutely drive you insane. Okay, it will absolutely drive you insane because it looks so perfectly right and it just absolutely does not work. All right. Let me show you what's happening. Let's just say that instead of printing text, I print text, and then I concatenate that with just any symbol, just a period. Okay, so what should I see? ADMIN, period, right? So let's take a look, Control-C to cleanly exit, and then I come in here and then place the card next to the reader. Got my admin card, I come in, I take it out, and then look at that, okay? Why did that not print? Okay, here it is. Yeah, it printed admin, but where is that period that I put on? It's way out here. So what is there but unseen is about 40 blank spaces, and admin space is not the same as admin, and so I fail this if statement because there are invisible white spaces. Okay, it's really, once you see what's going on, it's really easy to deal with it. And what you can just do is, after your read, let me get rid of this concatenation. That was for illustration purposes only. But after I do the read, what I can do is I can just say the text is equal to the text dot strip, and then what I'm going to do is, when I just put an open close, it's going to strip the leading blank spaces and the trailing blank spaces. If you have blank spaces in the middle, it doesn't strip them, but it just cleans up the front end and cleans up the back end. So now let me Control-C, let me come in and do this. Got my admin card, let's come in, put it there, remove it, and hello admin, boom. So I'm now into the admin part of the program. Also, I hope you see how helpful it is to debug as you go along, because that would have been a booger bear to try to figure out if we had not done it at this point. But now we know we are in the admin section. So what would you want to do if you were the admin? You would want to program new cards. Okay, you would want to program new cards. So instead of saying print hello admin, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into the admin business. And what I'm going to do is I am going to get the name for the new card. And so I'm going to say name is equal to input, okay, and I'm going to prompt it for I'm going to say enter new person's name, like that, colon, space. Let me come back over here, like this, enter new person's name. Okay, close the string, close that. All right, like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say color is equal to input, and then enter person's favorite color, like that, space, close, close. All right, and now I can just see if I got those print name, comma, color. And now let's see if that part of the admin business is working. Okay, put card near the reader. There it is. Remove the card and then enter the new person's name, Paul McQuarter, and then person's favorite color, blue. Okay, and then Paul McQuarter, blue. All right, so you see that is kind of, I got the data that is needed. Now, how do I write this data? Now, how did you guys deal with this? Because, right, you can only write one thing. You can't write and write and write something else. So how do you do with it? You've got to bundle everything together into one string, and you got to bundle it in a smart way. And what I like to do is I like to bundle things with a colon as the delimiter, as a colon as the separator, and then I have one long string. The little chunks of data are separated by a colon, and then later when I read it in, I can bust it apart. Okay, so let's try to do that. So what I think I want to do here is I'm just gonna have something that I'm gonna call data string, str, like that. And what is that going to be? It is going to be name, which I have, and then I'm going to concatenate plus with the character colon, okay, and then I'm going to concatenate that with color, all right, like that. And now I think I will take this print statement out, and now I'm just going to print data string, like that, all right. So now I'm going to cleanly exit, Control C to cleanly exit. Come over here. Okay, it says place the card next to the reader. Okay, I swipe it, remove the card. New person's name, Paul McQuarter. Okay, and then favorite color, blue, and then boom, Paul McQuarter colon blue. Now if I write that to the card, I've got everything on the card that I need. My concatenated data. Now also, let's make this a little bit more personal. You guys, we need to start taking our program up to the next level. So enter new person's name. What do I really want here? I want an apostrophe. I want to use proper grammar. But then what does that apostrophe do? It closes this string, and now I would get an error if I ran it. So this is how, what if you want to print something or you want to prompt something with an apostrophe? Well, you define your string not with an apostrophe but with a quote, and then you end it with a quote, and a quote treats then the apostrophe as an apostrophe, not as the start or an end of a string. Okay, so enter favorite person's name. I like that. Now, instead of enter persons, that's very impersonal. It's very impersonal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say enter space, and then I am going to close that, and then I'm going to concatenate it instead of person, who? Name. Okay, name. And now I'm going to concatenate that with, I want an apostrophe S, so I'm going to do a quote. And then now I got to end the quote over here, like that. Okay, so enter name, and then what? I want the apostrophe S, favorite color. This will be much more personal. So let's try this. Okay, place the card, got my admin card, come over here, read it, remove it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say enter the person's name, Paul McQuarter, okay, and then favorite color, blue, like that. Okay, Paul McQuarter colon blue, okay, and you see Paul McQuarter's favorite color, good, new person's name, good. Much better formatting, so Control C to get out of that. I have that data string now. I have that data string, so what do I want to do? Okay, I want to write it not to the admin card, but to the new card. I want to write it to the new card. And so what I am going to do here is I am going to now prompt the user, and I am going to say print, and I'm going to say place, and then I will say concatenate names, name, concatenate apostrophe S, card next to reader, like that, space, and then close it with a quote. And you see I can use, and then close the print. You see I can use for just a normal string, I can use either a apostrophe or I can use a quote, but then if I want an apostrophe inside the string, I've got to use the quote to quote. Okay, so now print place their card. Okay, that's very good. So I've got told them to print their card. Now what do I want to do? I want to do a reader dot write, and then what do I want to write? Data string. Okay, like that. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to prompt them to remove their card. So now I'm going to say print please, or let me just take this whole thing here, copy it, come up here, paste it. So I'm going to say please, not place, but remove, and then this person's card. Okay, and then I need to close the print, and then I need to give the sluggish among us about 2 seconds to remove the card. All right, so this should program a card. This should program a card. Okay, so let's run. Please place card next to reader. So I'm going to place the admin card. Okay, remove it. And now the person's name, Paul MC WHORTER. And then Paul's favorite color is blue. Okay, and now place Paul McWhorter's card next to the reader. All right, now guys, I got to tell you, about half of these things don't work very well. And what I would do is I would just throw out the ones that don't work real well, and then I would just buy a dozen of them and keep the ones that work well. But it seems like about half of them don't work. And so if I'm getting errors, it's just some of these don't work as good as others. But we're going to try to power on through. So place Paul McWhorter's card next to the reader. Okay, you see we got a error. Okay, so we're going to have to kind of start over there probably. So we're going to come here, remove the card, and then we're going to go Paul McWhorter, like that. We're going to go blue, and now Paul McWhorter's card, we're going to put it there, remove it, okay, and then it should be programmed. Okay, this one should be programmed now, even though it kind of errors out sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to quit the program now. Control C. Now this is what you have to see. Okay, this is what you have to see. This card is programmed at this point. All right, but now if I go up, there's two modes, admin mode and user mode. How do I get in admin mode? Use the admin card. If it is not the admin card, then I go into the user. So I don't test to see if I'm in user mode. It's just if I am not in admin, then I am in user. Okay, and so then if I am in user, all right, what does that mean? I'm going to drop out of the admin section. I'm going to drop out of the admin section, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to come in here, and I'll just say if text is not equal to admin, like that. If text is not equal to admin. Do I really want to do that? At this point, I would have a user card there. I could go ahead and use it and just see if the programming works. So I'm just going to do this because at this point, right, I would have that person's card ready to go there. So what I would do, no, because I haven't read it. So I'm going to say if text is not equal to admin. If text is not equal to admin, the D is very important in this particular case, like that. Okay, now what am I going to do? Well, if I'm not in admin here, I have read the card. I have read the card. And so what I would want to do is I would want to take that data structure and split it up. So remember, it's data colon data. So I'm going to say a data array. I'm going to create a data array, and that is going to be equal to that text that we read. up above, that text that we read up above, and then I'm going to dot split it, and I'm going to split it on what character? On the colon. So it's going to take that string and it's going to split it on the colon, and it's going to make an array. So it's going to be a value in the array, next value in the array, next value in the array, split on the colon. And so now let's just kind of try that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print here the text, okay, and now I'm going to print the data array, and then we can see if everything came out the way that we would want it to. Okay, now remember, it's going to die sometimes, because in the real life I would throw this card away, but I don't have extras here. These things, you can get a dozen of them for just a few dollars, and so I would order a batch of them and throw out the ones that don't work very well. Okay, so now we are going to run this, and now instead of the admin card, I'm going to be using my card, so I'm going to put it there. Remove your card, blue. Okay, look at this. This is the text. This is the text, Paul McWhorter, blue, and then we split it into the array. First element, the name, second element, the color. Okay, that is really moving along very, very well. Now, one thing that we have to see is a real possibility is, you see how I entered blue like this, okay, but then the data structure up here is looking for what? Blue lowercase, all lowercase. And so what would be a really, really smart thing for us to do at this point? What I can do is, let's go ahead and I'm going to say, I'm going to get the name from the data array. So the name is equal to data array of which element? 0. That's the first one. And then fav color is equal to data array, and that will be the first element, the 1th element. And now what should I do here? I should convert it to lower. Okay, and so that is just going to take that element, that second element, right, this blue, or I guess I should show it here, this blue, and it's going to convert it to all lowercase. All right, and so that'll take care of that possible problem in the program. So now I've got my fab color and I've got my name, my fab color and my name. Now let's greet the user, okay? I don't think I need to print those, because I'll just do a print here. So I'm going to say print, and I'm going to say a greeting, hello, space, and hello who. I'm going to concatenate with name, which we just got, and then I'm going to concatenate that with space, with a space, comma, and then I'm going to say enjoy your favorite color, comma, space, and then close the string, concatenate with what? Fav color, and then concatenate with, yeah, and that's behind my head, isn't it? Sorry. Okay, fav color, and then concatenate that with what? The character exclamation point. Just put a little excitement in this operation here. And now we're going to close that whole thing. So I'm going to say print that. So let's see what happens. Control C to stop the program. Run the program. Now we're just going to go right. We've already programmed this, so I'm going to go in, I'm going to remove it, and then hello Paul McWhorter. I shouldn't have that space there. And then enjoy your favorite color. So this space here I should not have. Hello Paul McWhorter, enjoy your favorite color, blue. All right, so that looks pretty good. And so I'm going to Control C. Now, what did I not do? I didn't give them their favorite color blue. I didn't give them their favorite color blue. And so now let's come in and let's try to do that. So I printed it, but now here is where the magic happens. GPIO.output. What do I want to output to? Color pins. And then what do I want to output? Colors of what? Fav color. Now let's think through this, how this is actually going to work. So what are the color pins? The color pins are going to be the red pin, the green pin, and the blue pin, which are pins 16, 20, and 21. So basically this is just saying I want to output to 16, 20, and 21. And if I'm outputting to 3 pins, I need how many numbers? I need 3 numbers. And how do I get them? Well, it is colors of fab color. Fab color is red or green or blue. And so colors of fab color, I've got to come up here to colors. If I say colors of fab color is red, I'm going to get 1, 0, 0 back, and the 1 will go to red, the 0 will go to green, and the 0 will go to blue. So you see this index is based on the name, and that name is fab color, like that. And really, you should do some error checking in here. If someone says, what's your favorite color, and it's not in the dictionary, you would want to give them the option of adding that to the dictionary. And that's probably a good homework that you guys can do. Take this, check and see if the color is in the dictionary, and if in the admin section, check and see if the color is in the dictionary. If it's not, then prompt the user and add it to the dictionary. That's a great homework assignment right there. So now let's see what happens here. So we are going to run this. Okay, I've got my card. Place the card near the reader. This is so stressful. Okay, I put it, it sees it, remove it, and giddy up. Look at that, blue. Okay, blue. All right, so that's the old PJM card. So let's come back to admin now. So I'm going to go to admin, and I'm going to remove it. Okay, one thing I'm going to do is, does it turn off if I hit Control C? I exit the program, the LED turns off. So that's good. Just wanted to check that functionality. Come in this time, I'm going to read admin, remove the card. Okay, enter the new person's name. Let's say Anna, M-C-W-H-O-R-T-E-R, Anna McWhorter. And then what is Anna McWhorter's favorite color? Let's say green. That's my wife, by the way. Anna, sweet Miss Anna. So we're going to go green. Okay, now place Anna McWhorter's card. Well, I'm going to use the token here. I'm going to use the token, and hopefully it doesn't crash, but some of these don't work very well. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to put it there, remove it. Okay. And then, okay, so it got it. Now let's say if I come in and put her card, now it's ready for the next thing. Put a card there. I've gone through the admin. It's all the way back up to the top. If I put it there, remove it, and then boom, green. Hello, Anna McWhorter. Enjoy your favorite color, green. Okay, so I got that one. Now let's do one more here. And so what I'm going to do is, it says come to the reader. So I'm going to get my admin card, remove it. I am the admin. What's the next person's name? My mother, Rita McWhorter. Okay, favorite color, we're going to assign her red, like that. Now let's see if we can get this one to work. This one might be the one that doesn't work real perfectly, but I'll come in, remove, okay, and now it wants, okay, it didn't do anything because I was programming. Now I'm in user mode, and so I'll come in, I'll come here, like this. Okay, it's not, okay, remove your card. And it didn't get a clean read on that one. So let's try it again. I think I programmed it because there wasn't an error, but now let's come in. This, okay, remove your card, error while reading. Remove your card. Okay, Rita McWhorter, enjoy your favorite color of red. Okay, that one worked. Now we're going to come in, read this one, remove your card, and then hello, Anna McWhorter, you're green. And then I'll come in with this card and then remove your card. Got an error on that one that time. Okay, come in, remove your card, and we have blue. Okay, got a couple of errors in there. We would want to do a little bit more error checking, but like I say, the way I would really do it is the cards that seem to work seem to always work, and I would just toss out the ones that are not working perfectly. Now you could go in and change it. If I went back to admin, then I could re-provision these things to someone else, but I think that this is a pretty good place for us to stop at this point for this homework. I think that was pretty neat. I had a lot of fun. I really had a lot of fun doing that. So what your homework assignment is, and post your homework to YouTube, then in the description on yours, link back to this video, and then on this video, leave a comment over your homework solution. But what your homework assignment is to check and see if the color, the favorite color that you're assigning to one of the cards is in the dictionary. And if it's not in the dictionary, then you need to go in the admin section and you need to add it to the dictionary, not by programming, not by changing the program, but in the admin section of the running program, have it add a new color. Okay, guys, man, I hope you're having as much fun taking these classes as I am making them. I've had a lot of fun with the touch sensor and these little cards. I kind of like getting back a little bit more into the circuits. We had kind of gotten into some pretty tedious stuff with the artificial intelligence and the TensorFlow and camera and object detection, all that sort of stuff. I kind of like getting back and getting familiar with some of these components. So if you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. It will help us with the old YouTube juice if you'll leave a comment down below. If you've not subscribed to the channel already, make sure to press that subscribe button, and when you do, make sure to ring the bell so you'll get notification when we have future classes drop. And most importantly, share this video with other people, because the world needs more people coding and fewer people sitting around watching silly cat videos. Paul McWhorter with TopTechBoy.com. I will talk to you guys later.